Well, that's it. We're all going to die. At least that's how the Israelites kept seeing their situation evolve as they were leaving as they were leaving the land of Egypt. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that. But first of all, let me apologize. It's been over 2 weeks since I've done a Coffee in the Word. I've been taking a little bit of a break from adding things to my plate. I've missed doing Coffee in the Word. It's actually something that helps me get started every day. And so by removing it, I probably shouldn't have removed it. It's something that I really benefit from. And so I'm happy to be back doing it. I hope that you'll like and share and even subscribe if you haven't to this. If you find this information the least bit helpful, share it with your friends, share it with the people that you love. We're doing devotionals every day, probably not on Fridays, but we're going to been working through the Old Testament, and I'm 2 weeks behind, so I've got a lot of catching up to do, and I thought I could do a lot of catching up because there's a lot of stuff there. But anyway, the children of Israel have been delivered from Egyptian bondage, and they have been, they were oppressed. Like, things were rough. And the first thing I want to kind of say before I get into this too much is, they wanted out of their negative situation, but they wanted it to go the way they wanted it to go. They wanted to be in a different situation. And a lot of us are like this. We don't really like it when we have to go through a process to get set free from our situation. And the Israelites are no different. They don't want to go through all of the plagues. They don't want to go through all the stuff that God is going to do to get them out. But he does. He gets them out. They're leaving. Not only are they leaving, God has done it in such a way that they get to leave wealthy. Like, they literally get to leave wealthy when they walk out of this land. And so God has you can imagine the scene, all of these people leaving the land of Egypt, leaving slavery once and for all, and they're dancing in the streets and they're excited. And, Moses had asked, let my people go so they can go out into the wilderness and worship God. That's what they were going to do. And so they head out and they come up to their first obstacle, which was the Red Sea. The Red Sea is standing before them. Pharaoh's heart has been hardened. He wants to go and pursue them. I've already kind of talked about this, but just real quick, I find it interesting that their words are, why did God bring us out here to die? And then, of course, the sea parts and they walk across on dry land, and the sea recedes on top of Pharaoh and his armies, and they're safe and sound on the other side of the sea. And God has done another mighty, miraculous deliverance to them. And they get on the other side, and it's not too long after this, after they've just sang a worship song by Miriam, that they get thirsty. And they discover the water is bitter. Oh, the water is bitter. We're going to die. Chapter 15, the end of chapter 15. And then they get a little bit further, and they realize, we don't have any food to eat. We're going to die. Why not just let us die in Egypt? Why did we have to come all the way out here to die? God, where are you? And this is kind of the complaining these people do over and over and over again, yet God keeps showing up and making provision. So he provides them with manna and even quail. Which, by the way, I don't know what manna was, but God bread's got to be better than any bread on this earth. And so he provides them with this manna that falls from heaven, and he gives them that. And the thing is if you keep reading, you find them again believing they're going to die. In fact, on the story in chapter 20 of the writing of the Ten Commandments, while Moses is up on the mountain getting the law from God, the children of Israel are like, that's it. Moses has gone forever. We don't know what's happened to him, and now we're stuck out here. We're going to die. And he was our access to God, so we don't have a God. We need to make up a God, or we're all going to die. Here's the thing. I think a lot of times that's our approach to life, is when things don't work the way exactly we think they should work, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. When God has shown up time and time and time again to deliver us from the evil, to deliver us from the struggles and the battles even. He sometimes delivers us through them, and sometimes he delivers us completely from them. And I think as you read through the Old Testament, if you're honest, when you read through it, you're pretty annoyed with the Israelites. You're like, but dudes, God keeps showing up. Like every time you grumble and complain, God swoops in and solves the problem. Every time you mess up, God swoops in and fixes it. Every time anything happens, you keep saying we're all going to die. Well, guess what? You are all going to die one day. We're all going to die one day. It isn't about whether or not we're going to die. It's how we're going to live. And I want to say that again. It isn't about whether or not we're going to die. It's how we're going to live. And I think if you read the story of the children of Israel and their exodus from the land of Egypt and their entrance into the land of Canaan, you should be left with the idea that had they just trusted God and lived for Him, death wouldn't have even been something to be afraid of. And so that's what I want to encourage you today. Yes, we're all going to die. But let me fast forward. There are promises after promises after promises that God has made to His people. Not only in this life, but in a life to come. And this is why Paul says, for me to live is Christ, but to die is gain. And he even goes on further and he says, I'm torn between the two. It's better that I stay here with you, but where I really want to be is in heaven with God. Like that's where I want to be. We spend so much time and energy trying to preserve and protect this existence. And we spend not near enough time preparing for our next existence. And so my encouragement to you today is stop worrying about the things. That's what Jesus says. Stop worrying about the things. Yes, we're all going to die one day. But only those who are in Christ Jesus will ever truly live. I hope that helps. Glad to be back. Look forward to many more this week. We're going to fly through the rest of Exodus and get caught up, but I'm going to there's several little stories I want to talk about in the book of Exodus. In fact, even the law of Moses, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We're going to talk about the giving of the 10 Commandments and what that all looked like, and even the golden calf, but we'll talk all about that. I hope that you've kept up with your chronological study. If you haven't, it isn't hard to catch up. Put it on your earbuds and listen to it, Chronological Bible, and catch up to where we're at. And eventually by the time you catch up, we'll be caught up in Coffee and the Word. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. This has been another edition of Coffee and the Word. God bless.